Now, the Bhagavad Gita says, as the person comes closer to death, he will not believe. In other words, Lord Krishna says, when the person doesn't want to hear any advice, you want to hear anything, they are very close to death. That means that the death has taken over them to a point where they no longer will see good advice. So that has happened to me a few times. A guy came to see me. I knew he was going to die in 2 months, and he's drinking and he's got diabetes and so on. And I encouraged him. I said, no, I would like you to stop. And he's walking like shaky and so on. And so I'd like you to stop. You can revive, you can stop. And he says you can't do it. And he refused to give up the beef. He says you have to eat the beef. You have to eat the red meat. And you have to drink the alcohol. So within 6 months, died. But even God cannot save you when death has come so close to you. But what saves us? What saves us are the angels that come into our life. Each person that comes to our life can be an angel or can be a demon. Like the book says, angels and demons. Okay, so now, there are certain people who come as angels into your life to say, okay, well, you should do this or you should do that. It's going to help you and so on. And those people are able to save you if you take their advice. Right? And then some people, they come into your life and they give you the wrong advice, and that's demon. We're always constantly meeting people like these. So how do you know which one is angels and which one is demons? And you always have to keep one thing in mind. That the one that you meet who's going to give you advice, first find out about that person's life. We all seem to want to give advice. Everybody wants to give advice. Girl, you should do this. Girl, you should do that. You should really go to the mountains, or you should really go to the river, or you should really go to see this doctor. And in my life, I have learned, of course I got a lot of advice from a lot of people, and in my life I've learned one thing. I always look at the person who's giving me advice. And if the person who's giving me advice is doing well and has proven to be excellent in his life, then he can advise me. I will take his advice. So, the first thing you have to learn is that if we are going to take any advice from anyone, ask the advisor, how are you doing? And that's what we don't do in our life. We don't. We simply accept people's advice sometimes, and the doctor's advice and everything. If the doctor is smoking and drinking, how is he going to help you? And if the doctor is having trouble with his wife, how can he advise you with marriage? So again, and this has shown up in the Catholic Church. For example, what we did, we noticed that the gay conflict in the Catholic Church. The pastor said, there's all these gay things coming out in the news and so with the Catholic Church. Why? Because they stopped the Catholic priests from getting married. Now, in every other religion, the priests are married. The only religion that the priest is not married is in Catholic Church. And that's where you have most of these gay problems, where they abuse children and so on. The abuse of children and the molestations and so on. Why? Because they're not allowing them to get married. Now, if you have a marriage problem in the Catholic Church, you're going to go to the pastor, of course. But the pastor doesn't know nothing about marriage. He knows nothing about marriage. How is he going to advise you? He probably had never been married. So how is he going to advise you about a woman, about a wife? You know. So again, I say that if you're going to listen to advice about people, first check the advisor. And if the advisor is doing well, then you are going to listen to that advice. Okay? And then you will prosper. You will never go wrong on your path. Right? Every one of you have to know exactly that your life is going good. And if we are distressed about our life, it's because we have some obstacles. So we seek advice to remove those obstacles. Only by changing ourselves we can enjoy the universe. Because everything that we have outside is we created it. We create what's outside. So if we have problems, we created it. You know? Right now, big problems are credit problems. People say, well, I have a lot of credit, I'm losing my house. Well, who created that problem? You created it. So you have to uncreate it. So the purpose of the mantra is to uncreate these enemies, little enemies that you have. The enemies are not someone. The enemies are within, and also you created that. Now, in some cases, it works in your favor, the mantra. Because when someone is jealous of you, does that mean it's a bad thing or a good thing? It's a good thing. When someone is jealous of you, it's a good thing because that means that you're doing good. Now the problem is if you are jealous of anyone, that's the problem. So jealousy have a two-edged. So in this case, when you do the mantra, Om Haring Sharing Jwalamukhi, it actually will create a friendly atmosphere with that person. So when a person touches the nut that you're saying the mantra on, the jealousy goes away. The person sees you differently. Now notice I said sees you differently. What does that mean? Because everything happens through the eyes. Everything physical there is. Right? You judge a person by eyes, you decide whether the person is a good person or not by your eyes, or anything like that. Not by your mind. If you do it by your mind, which is the third eye, then you will be able to judge the person correctly. But when you judge the person by physical eyes, you can be wrong. So that's what we teach here. Don't judge the people through these eyes. Because if you do that, you will be defeated. You will lose. Definitely you will lose. Because you're not seeing the mind of the person. But if you want to win, you have to see the mind of the person. So that's why when you have certain dreams, for example, it's because your mind has reached what you call the Sahasra, the high chakra. And when your dreams actually come true, that means your Sahasra chakra has been reached in your life. Number 9 read their Sahasra chakra very easily because their dreams come true very quickly. Life code number 9. So the idea is that you have to see the person through their mind and the physical eye. And then you'll be able to help that person. So when you tell somebody now about you should study life code, or you should study Swami Ram's health book or something like that, they say, no, I don't believe in that. Is because the mind cannot recognize you. Right? What does that mean? That means that person is very materialistic. That person is only seeing the outer. They're not seeing the inside. So that's why they don't believe. Right? Of course, gossip is one of the biggest money-making businesses in this country. Right? So people like to hear the gossip. That's the physical with belief of things. Not the mental. The truth is, the gossip might be wrong. So that's why you need to raise your consciousness now to see that person. And let's say if you ask a person, tell a person, you see a person is distressing, they're having a lot of problems, and you want to help him. First of all, you have to show it by example. And don't tell them. If you try to tell them, they wouldn't believe. You see my example, and so far I think an excellent person that's doing that is Martin Angela, and a few of the people who have studied life good well. I think Sonia is doing that too. Okay, what they're doing is that instead of telling them you're number 8 or you're number 5, what's that? Or you're number 6. No. What they're doing is they say, you know, this year is a very tough year for you. The person wakes up. How does she know that? Or this year you're going to fight with your husband or your wife. How does she know that? Now you're hitting the mental part of the person, not the physical, not the eyes anymore. Now you've told them something that they're going to think about, right? But they still might say, I don't believe. And then it happens. And then they come back and they say, Martin, you're right. This happened. Right? That's how we should teach people. That's how we should advise people. Right? Reach the person's mind if you want to help someone. Right? Because a drunk man will never admit he's drunk. Me? I'm not drunk. Right? Or a drug addict will not say I am high on cocaine or something. Right? So you have to hit the person where it's closer. Why is the person a drug addict? Because he's having problems with his parents or his girlfriend. So that's where you reach the problem, you attack the problem. Then you'll get their attention. Then they'll believe. So today we try to tell people, boy, you should stop drinking. No, don't do that. That's the worst thing you can give a drunkard advice. Stop drinking me? No. Right? Don't tell them to stop drinking. Find out what the problem is caused to drinking. What is the problem behind it? What is the cause of it? And life code helps you to do that. By knowing your numbers, you can actually know how they are thinking. That's what we teach here. To help you to know the people. Be your own psychic. Be your own psychic, because when you know the numbers, you can actually know the other person's personality, how they think and act. Right? Yeah. And we all go through distress, where we quarrel. And here's where the mantra comes in. You know, you fight. No, you're quiet that day. Of course, you're doing well. You're enjoying the morning. You get up in the morning and you're like listening to your favorite song and things like that. And then your partner comes in and starts a whole lot of quarreling. And so you said, oh boy. So if you pick up on this quarrel now, that means you don't know life code. That means you do not know life code, and you do not know how the universe works. We're all going to have quarrels every one day or not. That life is a cycle.